Hi, this is a video demonstration of our CPR course. We'd like to reinforce everything you've read or seen in the photos with a video demonstration. We feel that it really helps, especially if everything is explained. You may have questions, so we'll go through it, and I guarantee that when you're done you'll really understand the CPR process. It's not a very difficult process, but there have been some modifications in the last few weeks by American Heart. We want to make sure you get them as quickly as possible. So let's start at the beginning. The first thing you have to do is assess this situation. Now, again, you've read it, early access and recognition. Recognize what the problem is, get access to the victim, and help as quickly as possible. The thing you don't want to do is to jump into this and get yourself hurt. There's a victim lying on the ground, assess the situation, look around. That person could have gotten electrocuted. He could be in a puddle of water and there's a live wire and he walked into it and he got electrocuted. So there's no sense you jumping in and getting yourself hurt also. So assess the situation, make sure that you're not going to get hurt by offering assistance. The second thing you do is you want to make sure that that victim really truly requires assistance. And by doing the very simple thing of shaking the victim and saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" you'll find out if he responds or doesn't respond. Now, a modification in the guideline, we used to, if you remember the last time you may have certified, when you shake that victim and he doesn't respond, you check for breathing. There's been a modification and we'd like to start compressions as quickly as possible. So the American Heart now wants you not to check for breathing separately. As you're checking the victim, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" At the same time, again, those words, at the same time, you're checking for breathing. Okay? "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He's not breathing, we're going to start CPR. If this is a child or an adult, we're going to call first. Now remember, a child is defined as 1 year old until the onset of puberty. And the onset of puberty is usually 12 or 14 years old. And you've read some of the description of puberty in our course, hopefully. So from 1 year old to the onset of puberty is a child, and an adult is from puberty and older. We're going to call first if it's a child or an adult. Now, very simply, if you're alone, you're going to have to make that call to 911 or whatever your emergency number in your area is. If you're not, we're going to direct someone else to do it. If you have help and there are more than people in the room, it could be two of you are standing there and say, "You go call 911 and see if you can find an AED." That person leaves and you start CPR. If you're alone, which is very likely the case, you're going to have to call first. If you have a cell phone, that's great. You take out your cell phone, you call 911. "My name is John Smith. I have a medical emergency. It's an unconscious person. He's not breathing. I'm at 123 Main Street, room number 7, and I need an ambulance." At that point, that operator is trained to repeat the information back for you to verify. Don't hang up, don't put the phone down until they verify the address. 123 Main Street, room number 7, and we're sending an ambulance. Okay, I'm trained in CPR, I'm going to start CPR, and wait for the okay, leave it open, don't hang up, put the phone down, and let them listen. And the reason for that is they want to know what's going on so that they can direct the ambulance. If someone's screaming, he's not responding, they want to hear that. And if he comes to, they want to know that too. They want to know when their ambulance does arrive, so just leave it open and put it down. The next thing you have to do, if you're not alone and you want somebody to call 911, make sure you direct a specific person. If you scream, "Somebody call an ambulance," invariably what happens is everybody starts looking at each other to see who's going to go call. So if you know the people in the room, direct a specific person. "Bob, go call 911, see if there's an AED," and Bob takes off and he calls the ambulance. If you don't know the people that are there, still point someone out. "You, call 911, see if there's an AED." That person will leave and they'll call 911. Or they may have a cell phone and they'll call 911 right there. But if you just start yelling, "Somebody call 911, what happens is everybody starts running around, no one calls. So make sure that you point somebody out to do that. Okay, assuming that the call is made by either you or someone else, we're going to start CPR, and the guidelines have changed. It's now CAB, remember, that's a change in the guideline back in 2010. We'll start with compressions. Compressions are given by locating an area midway between the nipples. Okay, that was a change in the guidelines, midway between the nipples. You're going to take the heel of your hand, put it in that spot midway between the nipples, and we're going to interlock our fingers. Interlocking the fingers, very simple process. Heel of the hand, you're going to put your fingers through here. We'll lean over the victim, okay? We're going to lean over that victim so our shoulders are right over his chest. And we're going to straighten our arms, and we're going to give compressions. And I'm going to define compressions because there again have been some modifications. For an adult, it used to be 1.5 to 2 inches. That has been modified. For an adult, at least 2-inch compression. At least 2 inches. That is a very deep compression. 2 inches is like this. You're going to have to compress that chest 2 inches to do an adequate compression. For a child, it's about 2 inches. Okay? Those are the answers to the questions on the quiz, and that you should know to do an adequate compression. An adult, at least 2 inches. A child, about 2 inches. And an infant, 1/3 the depth of the chest, which is about 1.5 inches. Okay, 1/3 the depth of the chest. Very deep compressions because they're finding that if the compressions are done fast and they're done deep, that person has more of a chance to survive. Okay, the other modification very recently by American Heart, and that's why we wanted to get this video out as quickly as possible, because the modifications are the speed of the compressions. Where it used to be about 100 compressions a minute, it's now at least 100 compressions a minute, at least. Now, 2 inches on an adult, at least 100 compressions a minute. It's very fast and it's very hard. This is very difficult to maintain. Hopefully, assistance gets there right away. If you have 2 people at the scene and both of you are going to perform CPR, a typical 2-person CPR, one person's doing the rescue breaths and the other person's doing compressions, and eventually you switch. That would be the optimum condition. It's very difficult to do 100 compressions, at least 100 compressions a minute, 2 inches deep, with all your strength this way, and we'd like you to count out loud when you do it just to maintain the proper ratio of 30 to 2. You count out 30, you give 2 rescue breaths, you count out 30, give 2 rescue breaths. Now we get a lot of calls, what about this hands-only CPR? Hands-only CPR, it was defined as compressions only. Okay, very simple. And the reason behind it is that less people are likely to act if it was the ABC, airway breathing, and then compressions, if they knew they had to give rescue breaths. Not everybody is going to give a rescue breath, so a lot of people did nothing. So if you're unable to do rescue breaths, a person's foaming at the mouth and you don't have a barrier device and you don't want to breathe in that person's mouth, we understand. Everybody understands. So at least do something and perform hands-only CPR. Now, hands-only CPR is for an untrained professional, and I really don't even understand that, because if you're watching this video and you're taking this course, you're no longer an untrained professional. So the only ones that are untrained professionals or untrained rather, are people that have never taken a course and they don't even know about it. So again, hands-only CPR, if you can't give rescue breaths, at least do something. The compressions will do an adequate job, and that's been proven that they will do adequately or even as well as rescue breaths and compression. Okay? So 911 has been called. We're going to give CPR. Start by interlocking, putting the hand on the heel of the hand on the chest, interlocking the fingers, chest over the, your shoulders over the chest, and we're going to press hard and press fast. On an adult, at least 2 inches. On a child, about 2 inches, and we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very difficult. 2-inch depth, and you're going to go very fast, at least at the rate of 100 compressions a minute. Again, it used to be about 100 compressions a minute, now it's at least 100. In this whole process, we have to allow the chest to recoil. Come all the way up before we compress again. So again, to go over it from the beginning, interlock the fingers, heel is midway between the nipple, your shoulders are over the chest, and we're going to press hard and press fast. At least 100 compressions a minute, and we're going to go to at least 2 inches on an adult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 30 to 2 compressions. 30 compressions to 2 rescue breaths. If you're going to do hands-only CPR, continue to do without the rescue breaths. Just keep giving compressions. Okay? Press hard, press fast, allow the chest to recoil all the way. It's not easy. And we know that, but we just want to familiarize you with the guidelines. After you give the 30 compressions, CAB, compressions, airway, breathing, we're going to tilt the head back and pinch the nose. And we're going to give rescue breaths for at least a second. At least a second. I know 7 seconds is at least a second, but the answer to the guideline question is at least a second. Okay? That's the guideline from American Heart. Pinch the nose, tilt the head back. Watch the chest rise. If the chest doesn't rise, it's an indication that there's a blockage and we have to clear the airway. You turn the body, sweep the mouth. You may have to just take this person and perform a Heimlich maneuver, what we all call a Heimlich maneuver, in order to free what's there, because there's no sense giving airway rescue breaths if it's not going into the lungs. But if the chest is rising and falling, watch it rise and fall. That's part of the CPR process, is that you make sure that that chest is rising and falling. 2 rescue breaths, go right back and perform 30 compressions. Heel midway between the nipples, interlock the fingers, shoulders over the chest. On an adult, it's at least 2 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count to 30. 2 rescue breaths. That's the whole CPR process. It's not hard. It's very difficult physically, and if there are 2 people there, that's better than 1. If there are 3 people there and you know how to do it, then obviously you're going to switch around and you're going to do it until help arrives. Someone called our office this week and said, well, how long do I do that? And that's a great question, because I don't really know what the answer is. You do it as long as you can do it. I mean, we're not trained where we can pronounce someone dead. I mean, we just can't do that. We're not doctors. So we're going to perform CPR as long as we can perform CPR until help arrives. Once an AED is brought to the scene, we're going to use it as quickly as possible. An AED, you'll see a video with the AED and how to use it. And it's a very simple device to use, because it'll walk you through the setup, it'll walk you through the shock process. But once an AED is brought to the scene, we're going to use it as soon as one is available, is the guideline. So if they get to the scene, we're going to hook up that person, we're going to let the AED analyze, and we're going to see if we have to shock or not. Let's go over infants, because the process is a little bit different. With an infant, we don't lock the fingers, we don't lean over that infant, we're going to hurt, we're going to do damage. So we're only going to use 2 fingers for a compression. And all we're going to do, we're going to start with compressions, and we're going to use 2 fingers and 30 compressions. Now, on an infant, the depth is 1/3 the depth of the chest, which is about 1.5 inches, as defined in a guideline. An infant is birth to 1 year of age. We're going to use 2 fingers, and we're going to compress the chest this way. 30-to-2 ratio is still maintained, 30 compressions to 2 rescue breaths. But with a rescue breath with an infant, because their face is so small, what we're going to do is we're going to cover their mouth and their nose with our mouth, and we're going to give a rescue breath like that. Tilt the head back, we're not going to pinch the nose, and we're going to give a rescue breath. Now, just remember that an infant's lungs are very small. What we don't want to do is pop the lungs, so you're not going to breathe that deeply into an infant. The breath is given for at least a second, but it's more of a puff breath where you just breathe in and watch the chest rise and then let it go. You don't want to just blow in there because you're nervous and pop that lung, and you will do that if you're not careful with an infant, so just be very careful. If you don't see the chest rise on an infant, the process is basically the same. We went over that in the course already. You're giving 30 compressions, you give a rescue breath, and that chest doesn't rise, there's probably a blockage. You have to understand that with an infant, if that infant is unconscious, chances are it's unconscious because of a respiratory problem. Drowning, choking, and you're going to perform CPR immediately on the infant. If for some reason that chest doesn't rise, we're going to try and clear the airway. Remember the section where we take the infant, support its head so the head doesn't flop down, and we're going to perform 5 back blows with the heel of the hand. And then we're going to take the infant and turn him this way and do chest compressions. Okay? If the infant is still not breathing, we're going to perform 5 chest blows, support the head, tilt the infant down, and we're going to perform them this way. The 2-finger method is the same for what we call the Heimlich maneuver, as it is for CPR. So 2 fingers right down the breastbone, and we're going to press with 2 fingers 1/3 the depth of the chest, which is approximately 1.5 inches. Okay? We've gone over it a lot. I know I'm repeating myself, but when you see it done, it's always better than reading it. So if you have any questions at this point and you don't really understand something, just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to have an instructor give you a call, and we'll just go over it with you again. If there's a problem with the quiz and for some reason you don't understand one of the questions, again, send us an email and we'll be happy to take care of your problem, or have somebody give you a call, or just answer you by email. Our technical support staff is really good. We have an instructor on call at all times, or in the office at all times. So if you have an instructor-based question and you just don't understand the guidelines, like I said, shoot us an email and we'll be happy to answer it. I hope you understand everything. I hope you enjoyed the course. You're going to take some AED now, and you're going to learn how to use the AED. Again, thank you very much for using International CPR. Remember that your course remains open for the full 2 years of your certification. So keep your username and password. Make sure you keep our website address. It should have been emailed to you. And if in 6 months you want to come back and just review everything, just log in. You don't have to make any further payments. Log in. You can always make a copy of your certificate if you need another copy, and you can go through the course material again. You can watch the training videos, and they're updated all the time, as you can see. And this way you can go back and just study the course material every so often to keep it fresh in your mind. Have a great day. Thank you very much again for using us, and if you have any questions, let us know.